Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the letter N for nom 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 nom. Band wise it's 292 bands, so it's quite a few, sorry about that. Don't forget that when you make these to use like the multicolor bands or to use wrap bands to kind of give it your own kind of design element. I just make them plain, but make sure you are creative in your choices. So my kids are just going to play with some of these, so I'll make my own special ones for myself. But we will get started. And sorry, the white kind of goes into the white background, but we won't make it white in front of you, so get your bands. And we're going to start, it's one loom, wrong end towards me, everything's double banded. So first we're going to start with making a couple X's on here, or a few, but 2 bands. And I'll start about the 4th pin up. With 2 bands from the left over to the right and up a pin. I'm going to cross right on top of that. And 2 more from the left over to the right. And cross right on top of that. And then we're going to put cap bands on these 2 pins. It's 2 bands wrapped around one time. Same thing on the other side. And we're going to skip a pin, and then up here on the next pin up we're going to make another X, so 2 bands from the left over to the right, and then cross 2 bands right on top, and then again 2 cap bands, 2 bands wrapped one time, like that. Then we'll loom these out. So you go in through your cap band on the right side, because the right band is on the bottom. Grab that, make sure you don't pull off your cap band, and then pull it across the loom all the way to the other side. And then do the same thing on the other side. And then come down to the lower one and do the same thing, starting on the right side. Go through the cap band, grab them, pull them up through, bring them all the way across. And go to the left, bring those all the way across, and then on the right, so that's on the bottom, pull them up all the way across, and then again, like that. So now what we're going to do is on this single one right here, it's actually this portion right here. So we just need to make 9 rows on this single one around. So we'll do that first. It's 2 bands, you go all the way around. Like that. And then flip the bottom 4. Then mark your rows. Another row. Flip the bottom 4. Mark your row. Then you can go ahead too and come in and grab the bands and pull them up over the top of the pin so that they start to grow up like that. Then do another row around. Flip the bottom 4. Mark your row, and again. the bottom 4. So obviously this one's a little repetitive right here. I mean, they all kind of are to a point, but mark your row, another row, flip the bottom 4. I think they actually go pretty fast because they're not super difficult to do, especially if you've done the design stuff like this before. Another row. I want to mark that one. When we get done with this little part right here too, I will kind of give you or show you how to do the counting of the rows so you know if you've got them all. Flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Mark your row. Start your next one. Flip the bottom 4. Mark your row. Flip the bottom 4. Like that. And this should be the 8th row, so kind of check right here so we know if we're right on, or that way we don't put on an extra row that we don't need. So right here would be a row. So what I do is I follow that all the way up to the top, and right here is the very first row, this little point right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now I've got 8, so I need that one more row because we needed 9. Well, that's helpful because if you're distracted or if you're trying to watch somebody else show you how to do something, and it's definitely a little bit more difficult to do. And flip the bottom 4 on the last ones. But since I know what I'm doing, I go a little, may seem like fast, I guess, and then you gotta listen to what I'm saying and then do it and then come back and hope I haven't like skipped way ahead. So we have the 9 on here. Then what we're going to do is come down to where we have the double X. I'm going to do a row all the way around with the 2 bands. So then flip the bottom 4. Try not to pop your bands off. Push those down. And I'll do another row around with the 2 bands. Have to find out where that band goes. Looks like the electric blue ones. Do you agree? Electric blue. Like that. Then flip the bottom 4. So unstick this And now what we're going to do is we're going to split this, and we're going to split it in the middle. And how we'll do that is we'll take these top two pins and we're going to bring them down, or top pins, the bands on them, and bring them down a pin. I'm going to take my hook, go in, grab all the bands off, and pull them up a pin, like that. I'll stick this again. And then here, we want to leave them crossed. So, like if I pick up the top two bands here and pull them back, they would be connected to this pin right here. That would not be crossed. That would be separate. So on this side, we want to pick up all four bands, bring them all the way up, and then grab the top two, which are connected to this pin up here, and bring them down, skipping this pin down below. So then this band that's on the second pin comes down to here. Just helps keep it a little tighter in the split that we're going to do. So on this side over here, we should be able to just pick up the top two bands and bring them back, and it'll be crossed. So like these bands belong to this pin down here. Like that. So we'll do a row all the way around this with the two bands. Like that. And on the ends it's going to be four bands, and then in the middle it'll be two bands to flip. Ooh, stay on. And that's the same on both sides. Four on the ends, two in the middle. So you should be left with four bands on all the pins. Okay, so now what we need to do is, if you're looking how we're making this here, this is the portion over here, and then this right here is this top part. So now we need to split it and come down for each side. So how we do that is make sure this is loosened up as well as you can. And then what you do is you take your hook. We're going to consider these four pins to be one of these, and then the other four will be the other side. So you take your hook, you'll stick it through. Sometimes it goes through nicely, other times not. Stick it through underneath, take two bands, snag them. Now I'll put this end on the pin over here, pull them all the way through, and then put them on the pin on the other side. So we just pull the band underneath here, and we do the same thing on this pin right here on the other side. Just put my hook through, snag the two bands, hook them on the hook over, or pin on this side, pull them through, and then put them on the pin on the other side. So underneath, you can see the two bands that go underneath. Or four bands, technically. So we take two bands and we complete each side, so there isn't any bands in the middle here. So look like that. So then all the way around you'll flip the bottom four on all the pins. In the center here, where we pull up the band from underneath, sometimes it kind of crosses over the bottom bands, so just be careful you're getting the right ones. That one's not too messy. Just flip the bottom four all the way around. that. So we have 4 bands left. And we're going to stick it again, because the more it comes up, the easier it is to get your hook underneath. So I did show you that you can use the Rainbow Loom hook. I'm going to use my other hook, which is, this is a latch hook that the latch didn't work, so I took it off and then I bent it straight with a hammer. This is what it normally looks like right here. So, but you can use a crochet hook too, anything you can get underneath there. But again, we just want to, and these 4 pins right here, we're going to be doing 6 rows, and then on these pins right here, we're going to be doing 9 rows. So what I do is, we've done 1 row, so I'll mark them, and then when I get to 6 on both of them, I'll stop doing in the middle and then just do the 3 more on the outside. So, and I tell you that because I know it can be a pain to get underneath, so it's hard to play catch up if I'm using a hook that allows me to go a little faster. I'm pulling the band up underneath on both sides just to get it out of the way. And I complete my rows around on each side. Like that. Then you'll flip the bottom 4. That. Mark your row, and again make sure to unstick them. So I'll do another row, pull the bands up through in the center. Complete your rows around. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. Mark your row, loosen it up, pull your bands underneath, you should be getting a little bit more room under there too, so hopefully it's getting easier. Then complete your rows around each side. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. Like that. Look at all that room now. Mark your row. Pull up your bands underneath. And do your rows around. Stay on the pins. Like that. Then flip your bottom 4 again. Push the bands down, mark your row. So this should be the last row for the center one that we have to do. Can make sure here by counting. So you should have 8 little bumps there because we did two rows to start. So then bring your bands through the center again for each side. No, I can do this yet. No, not quite yet. Sometimes I can stick my fingers through and catch it on both sides. Do your rows around. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. Alright, done with that one. I almost got ahead of myself. Alright, so we're done doing the bands around this pin in the center, for these 4 pins. So I still need to do some over here. So mark your row still, we have 6 done. So now we need to do 3 more rows around this side. There's 1. Just keep, so do the 3 more rows around this side. Then flip the bottom 4. Mark your row. Another row around. We are almost done, so hang in there. Like that. Flip your bottom 4 again. Mark your row, and then 1 more row around. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. So there's our 9 on the end. So now what we're going to do is our little bump right here. We're going to bring that in and overlap in the center here. So I'm just going to grab the bands that are on this pin, pick them up, and bring them down. And then bring down all of them, 1 pin. Yikes. Forgetting how to speak. Just bring them all down. Make sure you get them all around the pin before you let go. So it should look like that now. So what we want to do is it's 3 rows around these 6 pins right here. So again, you still need to pull your bands underneath and then do your row around. Like that. So then on the ends, you'll be flipping 4, and on the center here, you'll be flipping 8. And it's the same way on both sides. And then we'll do another row around the 2 bands on just the 6 pins up here. Like that. Flip the bottom 4 all the way around this time. Push the bands down, and 1 more row all the way around the 6 pins. I don't know why my bands are all curly. Like that. And flip the bottom 4 again. So that's what you should have now. And we'll close the end down here. So if you just take your hook, go in through the bands that are on the pin. I'm actually going to start on this side. Grab the bands off, and then go around. So you have all the bands on your pin, all the bands on your hook. Told you I can't speak right now. Then take 2 or 1 bands through, whatever your preference. Pull them through everything on your hook. Back on, and then make a slip knot. I'm not going to pull it super tight right now, but just tight enough so it doesn't come undone. And then, for right here, since there are 6, we are going to braid it closed because it looks a little nicer, and we don't want to just close it like the kind of the starburst ones. But I'm going to take my hook, I'm going to go in through the right side, grab all those bands off the pin, and then go on the left side, grab those, and I'm going to pull the left side through the right side. I'm going to go to the right side, pull those through what's on my hook. I guess I'll take them off first. I like these bands because I think they're pretty. They can be kind of sticky, so these are the ones that were only at Michael's, but they're rainbow loom bands. But so I went through the right side, pulled those through, then go to the left side, pull those through, and back to the right, pull those through. I think I lost some. but luckily they are sticky, so they came with. Yeah, good. And then once I get the other side, the very last one's on my hook, take 2 bands and just pull them through all 8 bands, back on the hook, and then do the slip knot. That's what we have right now. You may have to, well, first let's just close it off. So I usually flatten the top a little bit of the top of the ends, and then I'll pull the slip knot tight, and I'll go up through the side, come out next to my knot, grab it, pull it down in to hide it, and do the same thing on the other side. This side I'm going to pull tight and then pull and hide this. And I usually just pull down until the knot portion either disappears or goes flush with the bottom there. So now you can see that it's got a little bit of curve to it that we probably don't want there. That just will involve loosening up the X row from the beginning, taking your hook, going up through the sides. Plus yours might not be quite as apparent because I think these bands were maybe not the right choice for this particular letter. But then just pulling straight, you get the end shape. Same thing on the other side. Basically just the bottom here, you'll want to loosen up a little bit by just pulling out some of the bands. And then on this side, it's the same thing where we braided. You're going to want to go in there and loosen up your braiding, because you do pull pretty tight and stretch to get that braided. But just go around. And we have a sweet N. Yes. N, N, N. So I hope that you like the ends. They are important for the nom-noms for my happy foods. So if you make some of these and you'd like to share them with me, particularly if you dress them up a little bit and add a little bit of your own flair, I'd love to see them on my Instagram, which is @craftingfantastic, or on my Facebook page, which is feelinspiffy. And it would be fabulous if you would subscribe to my channel so you know when I'm coming out with new things, because that's awesome. And I want to thank you very much for watching. Sorry about the kind of tongue-tied going on for some of the things. I'm not sure what's going on there. I guess it is pretty late at night or early morning, depending on how you look at it, so maybe that has something to do with it. But anyways, I'm done. Thank you very much. I will have more for you soon.